I know what you're thinking. Bar for bar talking about Lil Yachty? That doesn't sound right. What's happening? Bar for bar doesn't even know who Yachty is. He doesn't listen to him. Who's this imposter? Why does he look so different? First of all, rude. Second of all, you're right. I don't listen to Yachty. I don't really spend time like, oh yeah, let me listen to that new Lil Yachty. But that changed today because he just dropped his latest album, Let's Start Here, and it is quite the departure from his previous works. Now, he did, I guess, let us know what it was going to sound like sometime last year when he was on Icebox, basically saying that it's going to be a non-rap album, it's alternative, it's a psychedelic alternative project, it's different, it's all live instrumentation. And, most people may be like, oh, yeah, he's just talking rapper guy stuff. He's not actually serious about that because, there have been times where people say all these things, and when the album actually comes out, it just sounds like everything else that they've done in the past. But Lil Yachty is a man of his word. I mean, because, man, this album definitely takes those sounds and runs with it. I don't know necessarily what possessed him to do this, but it sounds like he just wanted to try something different. This is, I guess, something that he wanted to do for some time. I mean, he did do that album, or not album, but he's done collabs with Tame Impala, which a lot of people are comparing this project to. But you also get like Pink Floyd vibes and a little bit of funk with tracks like Drive Me Crazy. So there's definitely a variety, and for him to say it's not a rap album is very correct, I guess you could say, because it is very much not a rap album. So if you're a Yachty fan going into this project thinking you're gonna get a bunch of bangers and all that, no, it's definitely different. Now, this album, I've listened to it about 2 times so far, like fully, so I haven't really listened to the lyrics quite yet. I've mostly just been focusing on the sounds because if you know me, you know that I mostly just listen to rap, and not even just commercial rap. So I'm not going into this as a Yachty fan or a fan of trap sort of music. I'm going into this as a fan of more boom bap, lyrical miracle concept, like just weird shit. So when I started listening to it, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is different. But I don't really listen to this sort of sound. So everything was mesmerizing, I guess. I just, there was a lot to take in. So with that said, I mean, yes, there's a lot of stuff that like a lot of lyrics, of course, he's singing throughout the entire thing, but that's not been my main focus until like the last listen or so. Now, I say that to say, I don't know if there's necessarily a concept to this album. There might be. I mean, based on some of the song titles, like We Saw the Sun, I've Officially Lost Vision, Paint the Sky, and Reach the Sunshine. Like, these are all vision-based things and sun-based things. So it could just be that maybe this world that he's created in this album doesn't have the sunshine or they live underground or some shit. I don't know. And I probably won't know until I listen to it a couple more times because, like I said, there's just so much to be like listening to with this. Like, when he said live instrumentation, he was not wrong. Everything, it is live instrumentation and it sounds great together. The other thing is, I mean, the other reason I think there may be some level of concept to it is just because of some of the videos that have come out. I guess not necessarily just music videos, because there's only been one music video, but there's like the announcement video and then the video for Say Something. So both of those videos carry similar themes. Well, not themes, but just imagery. The imagery of those people with weird faces that we see on the album cover. So it's almost like he's trying to world build to some level. And if he does more videos for this album, which I really hope he does, I think we'll get a more clear story, to say the least. We'll just have to wait and see for that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he just puts out more videos, because he does a pretty good job with it. Now, speaking of the videos, I also want to make an aside. The 2 videos that he's put out regarding this album show him in a different light, I guess. Like, yeah, we all know Lil Yachty. We know him as the rapper. We know him as the like random YouTube person at times. But we don't really know of him as an actor, and we kind of get a little bit of that in these last two videos too. And it's interesting, right? Because, you know, again, we have this preconceived notion of what Lil Yachty is, who Lil Yachty is, but we don't necessarily know what else he wants to do. For example, I didn't know that both his father and grandfather were photographers, and that he's more interested in the whole video side, which he talked about on that Icebox video, which I think is pretty cool. Like that's neat. Like he's definitely a creative in that sense. And then even today when he was talking about his album or just tweeting about it, he mentioned that he wants to be respected as an artist or something along those lines. So maybe he did this album just to kind of be like, hey, I know I make this sort of music and sort of, I guess, content, but I can do other things too. Look at this. I can be different. I don't know. Maybe. Now, again, like I said, I haven't really dug into this album yet. I've only given it 2 full listens and then a little bit after that when I started focusing on lyrics a little more. So I don't know what point he may be trying to get across. But there are a couple things that I feel that he is trying to say. For example, with the track Failure. He's, telling you that he's no stranger to failure. Like, yes, he has failed, and I guess has failed quite a bit recently, but he doesn't let that necessarily bring him down. Now, that's not him saying, oh no, just because you failed at something, you can't be sad about it. Like, yeah, that happens, but he kind of has a almost carefree sort of attitude towards it. He's like, oh, well, it happened. I guess we can just keep on moving, which is really interesting to me because we have other people like Ab Soul when he put out Herbert, the track It Be That Way, or the chorus said It'd Be That Way. But, there's 2 different ways of like, oh, it is what it is sort of thing. One side is like more negative and the other side is like, oh, well, it happened. Let's keep moving. Let's do something else. Right? It's a different way to kind of think of it. And again, that's not necessarily saying that you have to deal with failure one way or another. It's just he does it differently. But with that, I guess, idea of failure, we also get a little bit more to it because I think at the end of We Saw the Sun, whoever's speaking isn't talking about failure, I guess, but more in just believing in yourself. And I think that's kind of the same idea that we got from the end of the Say Something video, where it's like, the video's great. Definitely watch the video. But at the end of it, Yachty's talking and basically says something along the same lines. It's like, yeah, no, sometimes you got to embrace yourself and be like, yes, this is who I am. And then, talking about failure and just being the best you. It's interesting. It's almost like there's a little bit of like mental health talk and self-care, but not to the point where it's like, this is what the whole album's about. Or it could be. I actually, like I said, I haven't listened to the lyrics entirely, so I don't know what other points he may be getting across. Now, before I wrap things up, because I have been talking longer than I thought I would, I do want to mention that people are probably going to relate this to some other albums, being Igor from Tyler, the Creator, and Awaken My Love from Childish Gambino. The only reason they're going to really make that connection, at least in my mind, is because both of them were rappers, and those albums are entirely different from the majority of their catalog. The difference being, I think, with Gambino, he just wanted to do it. It was just kind of a one-off thing, and he wanted to sing. With Tyler, though, he wanted to tell a story, and the way to tell that story was in the Igor voice and the singing. Now, that's not to say that Awaken My Love doesn't have a story, but, it's a little bit more clear with Igor. And it has been a while since I listened to Awaken My Love, so I could be misremembering things. Now, the other reason I bring that up is because, there's some semblance of a story and a concept to this, so maybe that's kind of where he drew inspiration from as well as like the psychedelic rock sounds. I could be wrong again. But the difference here that I also wanted to bring up is Tyler and Gambino. That was just kind of a one-off thing. Although Tyler does one-off things for basically every album he's put out. Gambino, he just did that one thing. I guess he kind of melded some sounds on his next project, but for the most part, that was like, okay, I'm done with that. Let me do something else again. The reason I want to bring that up is because when Yachty announced the album, he also posted on IG, and the caption said, "Let's start here, Chapter 2, 1/7/2023." Now, the part that I want to focus on is the Chapter 2 part, because, this might be a new chapter in his career, his music career, his life. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but it sounds like at this point in his career, at this point in his life, he wants to do different things. He wants to try different things. He wants to experiment. This album, he, I guess, spent 6 months working on, and then sat on it for 2 years. And he could have put it out earlier, but I guess he wanted to wait and build up. I don't know if he wanted to build up the confidence or courage to put it out, but he waited. Now, again, the reason I bring that up is I don't know what we're going to hear next. Is he going to continue the same sound, or is he going to go in a slightly different direction? Because, again, he did say earlier today that he wants to be respected as an artist. Now, if that means he's going to do more acting, that's great. If he's going to do more experimental sounds, that's also great. I'm very curious, honestly. This is a completely different arc in his life, and I'm here for it. With all that said, though, I think I'm going to stop talking. I've been rambling, and this is the second time I recorded this. But let me know in the comments below what you thought of this album if you've listened to it. If you haven't listened to it, definitely check it out. It's different, to say the least. You don't have to be a Yachty fan to listen to this or like it. I don't think many fans of Yachty specifically are going to like it because it's such a departure. But let me know what you guys think. Also, while you're down there, like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.